at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard, increase security, and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at copplecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G1877747, and G1965599.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
My hero. That's who I chase. Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, "Who's your hero?" And I said, "I don't know. I got to think about that. Give me a couple of weeks." I come back 2 weeks later. This person comes up and says, "Who's your hero?" I said, "I thought about it. You know who it is?" I said, "It's me in 10 years. So I turned 25 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, "So are you a hero?" And I was like, "Not even close. No. She said, "Why?" I said, "Because my hero is me at 35. So you see, every day, every week, every month, and every year of my life, my hero is always 10 years away. I'm never going to be my hero. I'm not going to attain that. I know I'm not. And that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing." So to any of us, whatever those things are, whatever it is we look up to, whatever it is we look forward to, and whoever it is we're chasing, to that I say amen. To that I say, all right.
All right, Austin, when you hear something like that, by the way, Jake has decided not to join me for the first segment of today. Austin is in, producer Austin. All right, Austin, that's Matthew McConaughey. He was accepting an award a few years ago, and that speech kind of stuck with me. When you hear something like that, what do you think of?
I think of, that's incredibly inspirational, right? Aspiring to be something better than you are right now. We all think we know our heroes, and then all of a sudden you don't. You get that question like, okay, well, who do I look up to? Who do I aspire to be? And I think in a lot of cases, I like what he said, the better version of myself. right? I mean, my first thought when I heard it was, that's a little arrogant. I'm my hero. Me in 10 years is my hero. I'm the best person I think I can be. But no, the more I think about it, yeah, I want to be someone that young me could look up to in 10 years, right? I think it's on that journey of becoming a better person, becoming the best version of yourself. And I like that quote a lot more than I thought I did the first time I heard it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where at first you're kind of like, you're your own hero, but basically what he's saying is you're always striving to be better. You're always trying to be the best version of yourself, trying to get better each and every day. You know, when I'm coaching kids or I'm giving a speech, whether it's motivational or to a business or whatever the case may be, you know, one of the things I'll say is you strive for perfection knowing you're never going to reach it. Nobody's perfect. All right. But you strive for perfection hoping to reach greatness. Because if you try to be great, you're probably going to be pretty good. If you're like, man, I really want to be pretty good, you're probably just going to be average, below average, et cetera, et cetera. You strive to always be better. You strive for perfection, hoping you can achieve elite or greatness. Nobody's perfect. But if that's what you're striving for and you're always trying to get better and you're always trying to improve, okay, the future and the best is always yet in front of you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Friday edition of the Adam Carriker Show. If you didn't know, now you know. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days a week, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. Grab your lunch. Come join us. What you're going to hear is Husker sports, college football, sports in general. What you're going to get is unique insight, unbridled honesty, and at least for now, producer Austin and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. We got a loaded show, a whole week's worth of press conferences to get caught up on. And there was this teeny tiny little thing last night called the NFL Draft. And it was great TV. First of all, I love when Roger Goodell gets booed every year. Look forward to that. Even at one point, I forget which pick he came up and he was like, oh, come on. Like, lighten up, guys. And they booed even more. I thought it was great. It was in Green Bay. So I love that. That's a unique destination and a place to have it. And of course, anytime the Lions or the Bears or somebody came up within their division, they got booed too. So it's fun, interactive. I love what the NFL Draft has kind of evolved and turned into. It was cool when it was in New York and Radio City Music Hall pretty much every year for a long time, or seemingly so. That was cool. I like that they've kind of taken it on the road. Big crowds come out every year. They're very interactive. You don't get to have it very often. So when you're there, you're going to be excited. You're going to be into it. So I love what they've done with that. All right, Austin, your initial takeaway. So today's show, catching up on all press conferences. All right, and the NFL Draft, Travis Hunter at 2, Shedeur slides, and Ty Robinson, Fedoni, Tommy Hill, Isaiah Nayor, Nash Hutmaker. We're going to try to guess where they might go, when they might get drafted, landing spots. But Austin, what's your initial takeaways from the NFL Draft? My initial takeaway is that I'm with you. I do think it's really cool that they rotated around. Radio City Music Hall, I mean, obviously that's iconic. It's a great place to have the draft. But you think about a place like Green Bay, outdoor stadium, even as iconic as it is, Green Bay's not getting a Super Bowl. They're not, right? Seattle probably won't get a Super Bowl. Places like that, Baltimore, for example, maybe. Not that these teams won't be in the Super Bowl, but they won't get to host it. So I think bringing the NFL Draft to them is a good idea. Just give those fans a little bit of something. Hey, thanks for being loyal fans. Travis Hunter at 2 makes sense. Jacksonville, I did not see coming with that one. That was really interesting to me, but I think they won because they got a good player. Cleveland's clearly not just one piece away. So I think trading for them makes a lot of sense. I think Atlanta probably overpaid for James Pierce Jr. They better be right. And then the Giants trading back into the first round to go get Jackson Dart. I think those are my main takeaways, other than I think the Colts got the best player in the draft. So that's what really matters. Remind me, who they take?
Tyler Warren.
Oh, are you a Colts fan?
I'm a Colts fan.
I did not know that. How did he drop to them? Who was the tight end that went ahead of him? I forget.
Loveland from Michigan.
And he's a good tight end.
Really good tight end.
Better than Tyler Warren?
So the way I've been describing it is Colston Loveland is kind of the Mike Evans of tight ends, whereas Tyler Warren's the Deebo Samuel of tight ends.
A little bit more versatility, so to speak.
More of a gadget guy, I think. Yeah. So I think there's bigger bust potential with Warren, but I like what the Colts did because I think they're a good schematic fit for him. I think Loveland would have been great there too. I'm still trying to wrap my head around whether or not I like the Warren pick. I was being a little braggadocious there, the best pick in the draft sort of thing. He's good. He'll be fine. Worried about the bust, but aren't we all with our first round draft pick? So we'll see.
It's interesting. My son is a Raiders fan.
Ooh, how'd that happen?
I don't know. Well, actually, I do know. Where he's in like second grade. And so we live just outside of Denver. So everyone there liked the Broncos.
Yeah.
He is like he's kind of like me. I would never root, like being a pro wrestling fan, I never rooted for Hogan. All right, who's trying to take down Hogan? Warrior. I never rooted for Austin. Who's trying to take down Austin? Rock. So I'd always root for the guy trying to take down the guy.
Sure.
Jacob is the type of kid who's like, everybody's here. I'm going to go the complete opposite.
Gotcha.
So we're driving to school one day. I think he was in either first, second grade. He goes, Dad, what NFL teams look like Pirates? I was like, well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Oakland Raiders were the two that popped in my head. He goes, who's better right now? And I think the Bucs were like 3-0 and the Raiders were like 2-1. I go, well, the Raiders are better right now. He goes, I'm a Raiders fan. And it's stuck. It is stuck. That. He's a freshman in high school and he was so mad at the end of last year's draft. So 6 quarterbacks taken in the first 12 picks. Raiders need a quarterback like nobody's business. They had the 13th pick.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody else worth taking in the first round after 6 quarterbacks went. So they got, this little known guy named Brock Bowers.
Right.
Pretty good tight end. And I'm like, Jacob, how are you mad at these? He's like, we need a quarterback. I was like, all right, you're not wrong. This year they get Ashton Genty. Now he's all pumped up. He's like, man, Dad, we got the best tight end in multiple years. We got the best running back to come out of college football this year. And then who's the pass rusher with all the tats on
Crosby. Max
Crosby. He loves Crosby. We got Crosby. We got all these different guys. So he's all of a sudden really excited now. So he's really, really happy.
One offseason from we need a quarterback to run the dang ball.
Well, it helps when you bring in Pete Carroll and then Chip Kelly, the highest paid OC in the NFL, is now your OC. Seattle's quarterback. All these names are escaping me. Geno's, yeah. They've at least got a quarterback for a year or two now.
Right.
So he's like, all right, we got a serviceable guy here. It's interesting. If you remember Geno's draft, he slid. And that was a tough night for him, kind of like Shedeur last night. Geno slid all the way to the second round. We had the same agent at the time. So I had a little bit of behind the scenes with that as well. I think Geno matured and learned from that, which is why he's still over a decade later, still around in the NFL. All right. And starting and playing very, very well. And Pete Carroll wanted him bad enough that he brought him with him. All right, so I kind of just glanced at these grades. Initially, first round grades for the NFL draft last night. Cam Ward with the Titans, an A is what they gave it. All right, you go to number 2 with Travis Hunter. It's an A. The only question mark is, did they give up a little bit too much? Honestly, I think the dude is a generational talent. When I said I'd take him number 1 overall, I don't think I've ever said that about a wide receiver or a DB. And obviously, he's a little bit of both. But even when Keyshawn went number 1, what was that, 96, 97 draft? I was like, I don't know. It's a wide receiver. I look at him completely differently. Like, I look at him like a generational talent. So I get it. And to your point, the Browns trading out of there, getting multiple draft picks. They need that to help. They're trying to kind of like dig out of the whole Deshaun. I know he's still there, but the whole Deshaun Watson thing, I think, is still kind of hurting them. They're trying to dig out of that. More picks will help. Abdul Carter at number 3. I mean, that was a pretty easy one. All right, for the Giants to take. New England Patriots take Will Campbell, LSU, number 4. Man, Michigan had what? 3 first-round draft picks last night? And I think they were all in the first 15 picks. Yeah. And then
they went 7-5.
Yes. So, like, I know they lost their head coach and quarterback and the entire offensive line going into last year, but the cupboard was not bare. They had 2 top 10 picks in their defensive tackle room.
Yeah.
No wonder Ohio State couldn't run on them, okay, in the game. And then Alabama, a lot of that had to do with their quarterback struggling. I heard rumors, pretty strong rumors, that if he was to come back, all right, to Alabama, all the skill guys were going to go. Like, all the receivers were like, we're out.
Oh, man.
Pretty strong rumors. Ooh. I've never confirmed them, but when you hear multiple people telling you that, it's like, oh. In fact, I had people ask me, where would you take him? I was like, as a quarterback, I wouldn't draft him at all. I'd put him at running back or wide receiver if he's a really good athlete.
Oh, yeah. Someone described him as Lamar Jackson speed with Cam Newton strength as a runner.
Dude. I don't know if I've never spoken to the individual, but if you were open to that, man, I'd be pretty excited about that. As a quarterback, not so much, no thanks. You start to go down the list, when it comes to Shedeur, everyone kind of pointed to New Orleans. Well, the Giants possibly at 3. All right. We won't bring up an individual who said he would take him in a heartbeat at number 3. We discussed that yesterday. We'll leave that alone now. Then the Saints at number 9. And there was a couple of possibilities in there, but there was really the Steelers at 21. Like, those were the 3. When the Saints passed, you're like, oh, he's going to be in that draft room that he had built for a while with all those hats that he had brought in. And what was that thing, like 50 pounds around his, hey, to each their own, man. To each their own. But 50 pounds, there's like $250,000 around his neck for Shedeur last night. And I'll give him credit. That's a tough night. At the end of the night, like I've sat here since we played them in September. And I've said I would not draft him in the first round. I know you're not in here every day with me and Jake, but have you heard me say that? I've said I would not draft him in the first round.
Oh, yeah.
And people are like, you're a hater. You're a hater. You're a hater. I don't hate Shedeur. I've never met the guy. I have no emotional tie to Shedeur Sanders. I just watch. I've got some experiences. Some of them were good. Some of them you have an opportunity to learn from. I watch other people, what worked for them, what didn't work for them, what worked for me, what didn't work, what coaches do, what coaches don't do, what worked for them, what didn't. And I look at Shedeur and I'm just like, that's a top 10 talent. And that is 7th round to free agent concerns off the field. Just, I would take him with the 2nd round pick.
And there's no shame in that. In the 2nd round,
no shame.
You're one of the best 64 players available. That's what you're being told.
I'm just like, I would not touch him with a 1st round pick. Right out the gate, take away some of the other concerns, okay? Right out the gate, he's never played for anyone but his dad. That's going to be hard for him. I have coached kids in high school who never played for anyone but their dad until high school, and then they don't play for their dad, and that's incredibly hard. And hey, when I coach my kids as much as I can, and it's a wonderful blessing to be able to do that as a father. It's not a bad thing. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this extended all the way into college. To the point, the whole jersey retirement or number retirement thing, all that stuff. Okay, I've talked about it before. That's absolutely connected to his dad. And it's just like, that's what he's used to. That's not going to be the way it is. And what's interesting is NFL GMs, they're not interested. Well, they are interested in making money and putting butts in the seats and selling tickets. And they still didn't draft Shedeur. So think about that. Because out of everybody from last night, he's going to do that more so than anybody. Going to bring in more TV ratings, and they still didn't draft him. But their main concern is winning football games, keeping their job. So what happened last night speaks loudly. And so for me, there was just too many off the field concerns, just gigantic red flags. When you look at his skill set, oh my God. Okay, first, before we do that, dude, did you watch the draft? And did you have to listen to Mel Kiper the entire freaking time?
So I flipped on the NFL Network version
you
of the
did.
draft,
Oh,
not the ESPN.
You're a smart man.
So everyone else was complaining about Kuiper, and I'm just over there in La La Land, just chilling, not hearing his voice.
Oh my, I should have thought about that. I had so many kids coming and going. I had to take this kid to softball and this kid to track and this kid here. And I'd walk in I didn't even think about changing the channel. Right out the gate, it's Shedeur. Showing highlights. He's already like preemptively complaining before Ward's announced. And then Ward's announced. Here's what bothers me. And I even took to social media and I put something out about it because it bothered me so much. Not just because it was annoying, ridiculous, and it comes across like Mel Kiper's on the Sanders payroll. That was enough. What bothered me is Cam Ward's story is phenomenal. Now, maybe I missed it. I was in and out throughout the draft. Not once did I hear he was a 0-star recruit in high school. Not once did I hear he had 0 offers out of high school. Not once did I hear the only quarterback taken in the first round of the NFL draft, the number 1 overall pick, nobody wanted out of high school. Now look at it. Not once was I just driving a kid around and I missed it? Was that brought up at some point?
Again, I didn't listen, but I think it ties in perfectly because when we think about, we're spending all this time talking about Shedeur Sanders, and of the draws to Colorado, he was number 3.
Yes.
It was Deion and Travis Hunter,
Yep.
And then Shedeur Sanders, right? Maybe we bring him up more because he's the quarterback, but clearly what we're finding is he's not the one putting the butts in seats. He wasn't the difference maker for them. Not to say he was bad, but then what a waste of a platform, and what a slap in the face to the other 32 prospects who were taken to keep bringing up this guy who you will have your time to talk about. But why is he the focus? Why do you take that moment from these 32 other players? It's unfair to them is what it is.
You make a phenomenal point. And it's funny because you're going the same place I was going. It's disrespectful to everyone else who was drafted in front of it, starting with Cam Ward. Like that story alone. Nobody wanted him. Okay. And Washington State at the time was a Power 4 school. Now they're no longer a Power 4 school. I've been to Pullman, Washington. I grew up 2 hours from there. Okay. Kennewick, Washington, 2 hours. There's nothing in Pullman, Washington, with all due respect. A bunch of my friends from high school went there. You go there for one reason, to drink. I'm just being honest. You go there for one reason, to drink. You want full disclosure? The first time I was ever drunk was on my recruiting visit to Washington State. Why? Because I had no interest in going there. I was going to go get it done. I was going to humiliate myself in front of a bunch of people I'd never see again and leave. And that's exactly what happened. You want full disclosure? There it is. Adam Carriker's an open book. He goes to Pullman, a place that's actually had decent teams from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Not just 97. They've been to the Rose Bowl 2 or 3. Well, back when the Pac-10 and 12 had the tie, then it went away. They went at least 2 more times after that. Oklahoma killed them 1 year. But they have had good teams, but they get overlooked. He goes there. Then he goes to Miami. Mario Cristobal did a great job developing a lot on that offense. Defense left somebody to be desired. Cam Ward played phenomenal, and that was not talked about.
It feels to me like NBA
nuts.
coverage sometimes, right?
Yes.
Everything comes back to the Lakers this, Lakers that.
Lakers, LeBron. Yep.
Right. And here's the thing. They're fine. They're worthy of being talked about, but maybe not in that time or in that way, right? Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know, those teams that are in smaller markets that got the 1 seed. It feels to me downstream of that.
Yes. So let's spend, I know we got to go to break here. Let's spend just at least a few minutes talking about these other guys. Travis Hunter, I've said it before. I'm not big on taking wide receivers as a number 1 pick, and I see him as a better wide receiver than DB, but he obviously can do both. Okay. I would have taken him number 1 overall. Obviously, Jacksonville thinks the world of him, traded the house, the estate, and then the state of Florida to get him, and they're happy to do so. And number 3, Abdul Carter, man, this dude's a stud. Mm-hmm. He is far and away the best pass rusher. Now, I forget his name. There's a kid out of Tennessee, I think drafted 12.
Pierce
you mentioned
Jr.
him, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Falcons got him at like 16.
Yes. Now, he is more athletic, although Abdul's really athletic. This kid's a freak. He ran a 4.47 40. The tape shows inconsistencies, which is why he dropped. Mm-hmm. That's what makes Abdul clearly the best pass rusher, his athleticism and his motor. Okay, if Pierce can find the motor, he can be right up there with him. So I thought that was a phenomenal pick for the Giants. All right, let's keep going down. Dude, Mason Graham, probably the best defensive tackle in college football last year, if not the best, one of the top 2 or 3, going number 5 to the Cleveland Browns, who, again, traded back. Ashton Genty, like I said, my son is pumped about this. I think Ashton Genty is a 3-down back. He's got the breakaway speed. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He will pick up blitzers. I don't think he's that guy you got to take off the field in short yardage either. He will break some tackles. So what are your thoughts on Ashton Genty going to the Raiders at 6? Is it too high for a running back? They've been devalued lately.
Well, they were talking about him as high as 5, and maybe the Bears were trying to trade up to get him. So this is the range you're going to see him in. I'm a little more surprised that it's Las Vegas than I am that he went in the top 10. I do think, Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry did a lot for the running back conversation last year. And, I'm one of those people who leans analytical. Was it really worth it? I don't know, but just be right.
Yes.
It's a crapshoot. It's a guessing game. I was on the Jenny for Heisman train. I think he's a stud, and I hope for his sake it works out because he's so fun to watch.
It's interesting. So this is amazing for me to say now because I can't stand Texas, gag me you, and I can't stand the Cowboys. Part of that is playing for the Skins. It's their number 1 rival. But even before I got there, they were my favorite team growing up. That's the ironic part. Maybe that's why I'm so bitter towards them now. All right. 92, they win the Super Bowl. 93, Emmett has the contract dispute. He misses the first 2 games of the year. They go 0-2. All of a sudden, Jerry's like calling him, okay, let's figure this out. Boom, he's back on the field. They either lost 1 game the rest of the year or didn't lose, and then they went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people will say the offensive line in Dallas is the greatest in the history of the NFL. You can make that argument, the Great Wall of Dallas.
Sure.
You can argue a running back maybe is as important as it used to be. What I would argue is what you just said. Saquon, and I know this is a long time ago. Okay, but Emmett coming back was clearly a big impact and difference maker. I'm not saying Ashton is or is not, Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
One of the best. Well, yes, the potential's there. But I like that pick. All right, you go to number 9. I have a soft spot for Kelvin Banks out of Texas. He was here at the Outland. I got a chance to meet him. One of the classiest, nicest dudes ever. It was interesting. Of the top 10 picks, this is the first one not to be graded an A. It was a B+, which kind of surprised me. Colston Loveland, Michigan, as you mentioned, tight end going to the Bears. All right, Mykel Williams, insanely talented. Can he find that consistency? Okay, edge rusher. Then Dallas Cowboys took Tyler Booker, guard from Alabama. And then there's the other defensive tackle, Kenneth Grant from Michigan, going to the Dolphins. There's your guy, Tyler Warren, tight end. A lot of people had him as the best tight end in the draft, neither here nor there. Two really good tight ends kind of separated themselves going to the Colts. As you go on down, did anybody else stick out to you? I remember Walter Nolan, who went to the Cardinals at 16, was the number one recruit in the entire nation coming out of high school. Okay, and then when he went to the transfer portal out of A&M to Ole Miss, he was the number one player in the transfer portal, highly talented. Anything else stick out to you in the rest of the first round?
To me, it's the last two picks. At 31 and 32, the Chiefs and the Eagles get some guys whose talent is much better than late first round, right? The Eagles must have thought the Chiefs were going to take Jihad Campbell, so they trade up ahead of him. Chiefs move back one spot, and they get an extra fifth-round pick. That's just good, solid business. Love that for Philly, another versatile piece for them to use on that Super Bowl caliber defense. And then the Chiefs, right? They go out and they've had some issues with their offensive line the last few years. They sign Jalen Moore in free agency, but they get Josh Simmons, who was probably left tackle number one for a lot of people coming into the year. Obviously, patella injury is not a good thing for a guy to have, but if the medicals check out, he's going to a place that has a lot of veterans because there are some of those maturity concerns. What a better place for him to grow up than around that organization. Kansas City might have just solved their left tackle issue for the next handful of years and got a fifth-round pick for doing it.
That's a great point. And, I'm looking at this. I didn't even realize this. I went to bed after the Baltimore, by the way, Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia.
And Kyle Hamilton.
Dude, him and the other safety they were deciding between. Malachi has a vertical jump of 33. The other guy has 43. 4.5 versus 4.39 40-yard dash. He can't jump as high. He's not as explosive. He's not as fast, and they chose him over him. And if you watch his film, it's about football, IQ, smarts, and he plays faster.
Yeah.
That's called being a football player. Then if you watched his interview, he was ready to run through a wall right then and there. So that stood out to me. Then I went to bed because I'm like, nobody's taking Shedeur at this point. The last thing that stood out to me was Jackson Dart. And I think I said this once during the football season. So I doubt if anybody's going to remember. I'm not going to try to take credit for it because I should have been stronger on my stance about this before the draft. So I can't go back afterwards and say, hey, I said this months ago and try to get credit for it. But there was one time months ago when I said I would take Dart over Sanders. And honestly, I've had this in my notes since I said that a few months ago, and I keep forgetting to revisit as to why. The off-field concerns for Sanders. But here's what I think a lot of people don't know about Jackson Dart. He was a 5-star coming out of high school, went to USC, then transferred to Ole Miss. He owns the majority of Ole Miss passing records, which means he broke all of Eli Manning's records as well. He's got some concerns, has shown the tendency on film to melt down in tough situations, which is where Mel Kiper really loves Shedeur. And Shedeur has proven to be clutch. I will give him that. Whereas Jackson maybe hasn't proven to be as clutch. But when it comes to overall skill, talent, ceiling, mobility, I would have preferred Jackson over Shedeur. You got final thoughts, and then, we got to head to break here.
Yeah, no, I get the selection. It was kind of funny to see the GM's kid post a little Jackson Dart video on Instagram the morning of the draft, and, hey, look, here come the Giants back to trade into it. There's a little bit of Nico Yamaleva concern with Jackson Dart for me. Who is he putting up his numbers against? Stats are there. Was the competition? I don't know. The best piece of draft analysis I think I heard when it relates to quarterbacks is if you look at Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, is the guy you're taking in that vein? Can you envision him becoming this player? Not pie in the sky dream, but are there the building blocks there? I do think there are more of those building blocks there for Cam Ward, for Jackson Dart, than for Shedeur, for Tyler Shuck, for anyone else down the line. You need a quarterback. You got to take some bites at the apple. You got to take swings. You won't know unless you try them. So, all right, Giants, let's see.
Dude, if you're a Giants fan, I think you're excited. You got the best pass rusher in Abdul Carter. You got the second best quarterback moved up to go get him in Jackson Dart. I think if you're a Giants fan, you got to be excited. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Get ready for the largest dirt late model event in Nebraska, race fans. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series is heading to Eagle Raceway's High Bank Heist on Thursday, May 15th through Saturday, May 17th. See the greatest dirt late model stars in the country compete for $10,000 to win on both Thursday and Friday, and an enormous $50,000 to win 75-lap main event on Saturday. The High Bank Heist, May 15th through May 17th at Eagle Raceway. For more info, visit eagleraceway.com. Let's go Lucas Oil Late Model Racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT, from cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
I tried to hide my cigarette smoking. Then I was rushed into emergency surgery to repair the damage smoking did to my heart. It shocked everyone because they thought I was healthy. Yet because I smoked, I had a severe heart condition that nearly killed me. My tip is, you may be able to hide your smoking from the world, but you can't hide from the damage smoking does to your body.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake decided to show up for work today. How you doing, Jake?
Not too bad. Yeah, I'm sleeping in, so I just made it. No, I was working on some production stuff.
Yeah, every Friday you help with another podcast or something like that?
Yeah.
So you're betraying me?
Yeah, YWCA. Shout out YWCA. So I can get away from your betraying comments.
All right. So I got all this stuff I've kind of been storing up all week. So I'm going to go rapid fire through some of this. So it's going to kind of go all over the place like a ping pong ball here. So let's have a little fun. Baylor men's basketball team will have 0 returning players next year. There was a picture sent to me. Every single player is X'd out because they're all either transferred or graduated. About a week ago or earlier this week, Ole Miss catcher Austin Fowley hit a grand slam in the first inning of the game, the person who caught it was his mom. That's pretty cool. I don't know what the odds of that are. WrestleMania. There was a great sign at WrestleMania. It says 1,967 days since Ohio State has last beat Michigan at WrestleMania. That was a great sign. My wife sent me this, so shout out to her. My husband asked me why I speak so softly in the house. I said I was afraid Mark Zuckerberg was listening. He laughed. I laughed. Alexa laughed. Siri laughed. Then Tesla laughed. All right. You like that one, Jake?
I do like that one because it's true.
Okay. I'm so sick and tired of I will talk about something. Bam, get online. There's an ad for it right then and there. Get out of my life, Mark Zuckerberg, and whoever else is helping you.
It was funny because years ago I had a host that was like, it was before it was like, I don't even know how to say it. Maybe like public knowledge that it listens to you because obviously we've seen how it changes. But it's like he felt like it was listening to. And I said, well, you're saying what you want, like you're saying it on the radio, so like it's for everybody. You're broadcasting it for everybody to hear. So certainly it could be listening to you then. But no, it seems to be listening to you whether you're in a radio broadcast or not.
Okay, I forget what it was. Now we're okay. Indulge me for the conspiracy theorist for just 30 seconds, then we'll move on with our lives. There was somebody who worked for Facebook. I saw this video like 7-8 years ago, which is why it's so vague, the details. But the generality was always cover, like that little camera on your laptop.
Yeah.
All they said was always cover it, and I always do. And that was my takeaway from that video. I was like, well, that's scary.
And you still cover it.
Well, it's not covered right now.
No.
I mean, I'm on. Everybody's
again, yeah.
The world is watching us anyways, Jake. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Nico Iamaleava's little brother, Madden Iamaleava, went from Arkansas to UCLA. Followed his brother to play for Deshaun Watson. Arkansas, however, would like $200,000 back from their NIL collective that they apparently believe that Iamaleava should give them back since he decided to take his talents and go to West Coast Beach. I tried to incorporate LeBron there. I don't know how well that worked. All right. Most outstanding female student athlete finalists for this year at the University of Nebraska. You got Lexi Rodriguez. You got Emma Spence. You've got Jenna Rogers, so track and field, women's gymnastics, volleyball, Maddie Harris, another track and field. All right. Star there as well. There's going to be some others that I'm bouncing back to. I thought this was great. Did you know the Zootopia 2? This is like my favorite thing. Zootopia 2, if you're a Cowboys fan, I'm not sorry. Zootopia 2 has better odds to win Best Picture at the Oscars than the Dallas Cowboys do to win the Super Bowl. The odds for the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl are plus 7,500. Zootopia to win Best Picture at the Oscars, 6,500. That is like my favorite stat of the day right there. All right. I'm going to come back to that one. That's a little bit longer. When I'm trying to do the shorter, harder hitting ones. All right, a little bit of a recruiting update. Nebraska made the top 5 for 2026. 4-star offensive tackle Kelvin Obot out of Fruitland, Idaho. The top target, all right, according to some, on Donovan Raiola's board. The Huskers are battling Oregon, Michigan, USC, and Utah for the fast-rising athletic offensive tackle. So I think this is why Rhule is emphasizing less the in-state recruiting. He's like, I don't want to be in recruiting battles with Iowa State. I want to be in recruiting battles with Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, and the like. And so I think that's why you've seen a shift. And I've got notes later on down the road that compare 5-stars who've committed to the SEC Big Ten versus Big 12 ACC. The overall recruiting rankings, Big Ten, SEC versus ACC, Big 12. The Big 12 lags behind everybody. Like, you want to compare the Big 12 to somebody? It's like the entire Big 12 compared to Notre Dame. One school. And that's about the only thing you can compare them to. That's not a shot at Notre Dame, by the way. You know, I've kind of noticed UNO. It's hard not to root for the UNO Mavericks. First of all, they're not Creighton, and they're in Nebraska. So it makes it 1,000 times easier, just like UNK and whoever else you want to mention. Earlier this week, okay, UNO, all right, Sidney Thompson's Grand Slam pushed UNO, the Mavericks, ahead of Creighton 10-2, all right, in softball. My question, quickly, Jake, should Creighton be worried? Like, there's a new potential big-time player coming up in baseball and basketball in their own city. UNO is making some noise. They made the NCAA tournament. Their baseball team has beaten some ranked teams. Their softball team just beat Creighton 10-2. If you're a Creighton fan, all three of you out there, should they be concerned?
I wouldn't say concerned just yet. I mean, just because of Creighton, some of the sports that they've risen up in, obviously basketball is a top 15 program, volleyball is a top 15 program. So, I mean, they've, you would originally be concerned, but they should still get the primary recruits out of Omaha that they want compared to the Mavericks. But, you know, I would say that watching the Mavericks slowly rise over the last 10 years or so to where they are now, it wouldn't be so much now for me, but like the concern is maybe 10 years from now, 15 years from now, is it going to continue to grow? And then eventually I think they could compete with them. But right now I wouldn't quite be concerned.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got more Husker sports roundups that I'm trying to fire through here, get caught up on the entire week. We're going to take a quick break. Before we do, I was sent some more female finalists for Athlete of the Year. Jordy Ball is among them. All right. And Axelina Johansson, another track and field star as well. And the male Athlete of the Year finalists, I want you to pick one. I want you to pick one because this is so hard. Ridge Lovett, national champion. Antrell Taylor, national champion. Bryce Williams, one of the best to ever do it at Nebraska. And Tyus Wilson, track and field, who won multiple awards, by the way, I might add. You have to pick one.
Boy, that's tough. I'm going with Emma Spence on the women's side. I'm a little bit biased because I work with her. On the men's side, you're talking about a bunch of national champions and Bryce Williams, who scored 20 points a game, so that's tough.
Tyus Williams won a bunch of awards in track and field, by the way.
I almost...
It's tough. That's why I'm not doing it.
That's really tough, yeah. Because I want to pick a national champion, but which one do you pick? On the wrestling side, I don't know.
Didn't Ridge Lovett win 2 Big Ten championships in a row? If so, I'd go with Ridge. And we are splitting hairs, splitting them again, and then splitting them a third, fourth, and fifth time to try to pick someone here, by the way. All right. Okay. Final thought before we go to break, and then we got more Husker sports roundups and sports roundups in general. The New York Jets are the only NFL, NBA, or Major League Baseball team to not make the postseason during Pope Francis's tenure. I'm not even an anti-Jets person. That was just amazing when I saw that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise! When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, you can get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise with the bill. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Allow me to get a bit sappy. For women, jewelry isn't just a gift. It's a timeless symbol of love and appreciation. You have to get this right. No fleeting trends or gadgets will make the impact. Every time she wears it, every time she gets a compliment, you win. Trust me, guys, you'll get your money worth. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Authentic Mexican food is not always easy to find, but you can find it in Lincoln at Tacos Los Hermanos. Their birria tacos are worth the drive from anywhere in town, but their chicken, chorizo, al pastor, and asada tacos are also worth the trip. You can also try any of those meats in a burrito or quesadilla. You won't find a better toppings bar in the area or better dessert options. If you can't get there, don't worry, they do deliver as well. Stop by Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock Streets in Lincoln.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Crash together. So close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We've got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts. Beer. And barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, here's some of those aforementioned statistics. I'm getting texts, and they're about tomorrow because I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to go, or what time I'm supposed to get there for the Husker games. Anyways, I will look at that during the next break. For now, here are some of those recruiting rankings and stats that I mentioned. All right, you just look at 5 stars. Okay, there's more than important things in this world than just looking at 5 stars, but you break it down a little bit. The SEC had 17 5-stars commit to their conference. The Big Ten had 10. So 27. The ACC and Big 12 combined had 5. The Big 12 had 1 of those 5, by the way. Notre Dame had 1. So when I said the Big 12 as a whole compares to Notre Dame, that's what I was kind of alluding to. The Big 12, to be clear, is my favorite conference to watch, but it is not where the best football is played. All right? You look at the overall recruiting rankings, top 25 teams by conference, recruiting rankings-wise. SEC, 12 teams in the top 25. Big 10, 8. ACC, 3. Big 12, 1. Notre Dame, 1. So I feel like the Big 12 should put together an all-star team and play Notre Dame. Okay, serious question, Jake. If they did that, who would you predict to win? You have to put all the money you have on the line. The Big 12 has time to practice, gel as a team. So it's as far as knowing each other, all things equal. It's just, at that point, who's the better coach? Who's got a little bit more talent? Who would you put your money on, Notre Dame or the Big 12 All-Stars?
Boy, even picking out who would coach the Big 12 would be interesting because there's no clear cut.
Whittingham, the Utah coach. That'd be my vote. That'd be my vote.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if there's a clear-cut winner. But I'd pick the Big 12, but I mean, it's not like I didn't have to sit and think about it.
Notre Dame just playing the national title.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I get Cam Scatterby, though. I'll be happy with it.
Ooh, that's a fair point. And Arizona State did take Texas down to the wire.
Yeah.
All right, you swayed me. The Cam Scatterby one, that swayed me. I bet the spread's within a touchdown, though. Probably.
Plus, you get Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
You could start to pick apart some good teams.
Well, you had me until Shedeur Sanders. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, pick a different quarterback.
Now it's over. Adam's out. No, I'm just kidding. All right. This is just an interesting stat. I did not know this. Kirby Smart's a really good football coach. Georgia is the only program in the country to win 90% or more of their games in the past 4 years. Think about that. 90% or more. No other team or program has done that in the country. During that time, just a reminder, 2 SEC titles. And last year was a down year for Georgia, and they won the SEC. 2 national titles. But here's another intriguing stat. Which team has won the third most amount of games of any team in the SEC in the past 4 years? The third most. Number 2 would be Bama.
Okay. Trying to think who's been consistent. Tennessee?
You're not going to get the answer because I wouldn't have gotten it. I'll give you 2 more guesses. You get 3. 2 more.
And it's going to be a surprise. South Carolina?
1 more.
I can't even. I maybe just go with the obvious one that it's not. Missouri?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Oh, yeah. Good job, Lane.
Man, I was surprised by both those stats. Ole Miss has done pretty good. All right. Putting a button on the sports and Husker Sports Roundup when we come back. It's all about press conferences and who's going to get drafted where from the Huskers. Ty Robinson, Thomas Fidone, Isaiah Nayor, Nash Hutmaker, and anyone else you want us to chat about, you can send stuff in on the text line, Ben Scott. But I thought this was interesting. Bryce Williams. Remember, this is a guy that Jake did not pick as the male athlete of the year. Just want to point that out. 20.4 points per game. First team All Big Ten. 3-time National Player of the Week. Most single-season points in school history. The reason I bring this up is Fred Hoiberg, I think about a week ago, put out he's an all-around pro and should absolutely be playing at the highest level. Any organization would be lucky to have Bryce on their team. Do you think Bryce gets drafted? And if so, where, Jake?
If you look at kind of the mock drafts and stuff, and obviously he stayed in school, so they like they like youth when they're drafting at times, so that might work against him. You see him kind of crawling into the back end of the second round, and that's where I think it probably would land. If he doesn't, it's not a big deal. I still think he has just as good a chance as whether he gets picked or not. He's going to have a chance at the league, and so I do think back into the second round.
All right, I won't argue with that. All right, male rookie athlete of the year finalists: Ja'Cory Barney, Dylan Raiola, Dyson Wicker, track and field, Christopher Minto, wrestler. Who would you go with?
I'd probably go with Barney. He set the receiving record.
That's what I was going to say. I thought you'd go with Raiola. Everyone would go with Raiola.
Well, if you want to keep Raiola happy, you might just give it to Raiola.
Ooh, uh-oh. We're going down the Rhule Highway. All right. Do you know what that means?
The Rhule Highway? No.
It's a little bit of okay. I'm not going to explain it. All right. Either you get it or you don't. And either people get mad at me for it or they don't. I would have gone with Barney as well. All right. One final thought here before we head to break. An hour or two is upon us almost. Chris Heiser, male gymnast. Congratulations. After his rings routine, this is a few days ago. Again, we're getting caught up. A 14.33 is officially an All-American as a male gymnast. I think that's pretty cool. All right. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, well, I've already mentioned what we're going to talk about. Press conferences, galore. Matt Rhule, Vincent Shavers, Dylan Raiola, Harper Murray, Danny Busboom Kelly from the entire week. I believe, so I had sent you a clip that I had put out, a short on YouTube. Is that ready?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yep.
We said, I spent the first 15 minutes complaining about people talking about Shedeur Sanders, and then this clip is about Shedeur Sanders, so now I don't want to play it. Half the reason I sent it to you was in 12 hours, it had almost 35,000 views, and I was like, whoa.
I saw that.
That's interesting. We are not going to play it. Not because Shedeur's talked about enough, and I complained about that earlier, so we're not going to. It is on YouTube if you want to go check it out. All right, real quick before we go to break, though, do you have anything from the text line we should respond to quickly?
Just a few thoughts here. 7809 knows that they are listening as well. He says, I was talking to my brother at his house. How about crows are illegal to own? And since then, he screenshots me an ad that popped up on his phone about crow cages.
Dude, it's real. It's real. You can call me a conspiracy theorist. Here's what I want you to do. Set your phone next to you. Talk about anything. Wait 30 minutes. Get online. There'll be an ad. I'm telling you. Mark Zuckerberg, get out of my life. And anyone else who's associated with those things. Anything else?
But I don't want you to commentate too much on it because we can't. But there was another sign of mania saying Dirty Dom eats corn the long way. Nice reference to the old Goldberg sign
Dirty
from
Dom
years ago.
Dirty Dom an Iowa fan? Is that what that means?
Sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show, right around the corner.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of showers this morning with patchy fog possible. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and breezy with a high around 60. Tonight, mainly cloudy skies with a low around 44. And tomorrow, a slight chance of showers. Otherwise, mainly cloudy with a high near 63. I'm meteorologist Kyle Plecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
and electrical.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and my schedule can get a little hectic. From softball practices to going to class, traveling for games, spending time with family, and catching up with friends, I am always on the go. I want a bank that can help me from anywhere, but also be there when I need them. That's Midwest Bank. They have the same mobile banking technology as those big banks, but have that hometown feel that I like every time I walk through the doors. They make banking easy no matter where I am. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at copplecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome into hour 2, ladies and gentlemen, of the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We've got Nebraska draft talk. Where do we think Ty's going to go? Where's Fedoni going to go? How do we project these guys? How do they grade out throughout this process, and how do scouts view them? Also, a whole lot of press conference reactions from throughout the week from a roughly 90 million different players and coaches, from volleyball to football, etc. I was glad Vincent Shavers was actually. You expect Raiola, you expect Rhule. For volleyball, you expect DBK, you expect Harper Murray, expect all these. I was actually excited to see Vincent Shavers get put up there. The linebacking room is so intriguing to me. You got guys like Vincent Shavers, Marquez Watson-Trent, who Raiola just named as one of the leaders on the team. You got Dawson McCullough. Okay. You've got Willis McGahee, Vincent Shavers. Jacob Bowers has now earned a scholarship and appears to be clearly one of our best linebackers. Don't forget about a guy like Willis McGahee, who has athleticism. He could have gone to some schools as a running back. His athleticism is crazy. All right. Real quick, before we dive into Ty, Bedoni, etc., this is your daily friendly reminder to go check out, if you're interested, the Carriker Chronicles inaugural football camp. You can do it at carrikerchronicles.com. The camp that is for the kids. All right. Eric Crouch, Amon Green, Zach Weger, Kenny Wilhite, and yours truly will be there. The camp, July 9th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Autographs included, T-shirts included at LYF, the Lincoln Youth Football Field. It's for boys, girls, grades K through 8th. You want to learn the basics, the fundamentals, this is the camp for you. You want to take your game to the next level, this is a camp for you. You want to have, hopefully, an amazing time that you're going to remember for a long time. This is the camp for you. Again, register and or learn more at carrikerchronicles.com. Ty Robinson. All right. I'm just going to read this from Kent Lee Platt. All right, scout analyst. Ty Robinson is a defensive tackle prospect in the 2025 draft class. He scored a 9.89 RAS out of a possible 10. This is ranked 24 out of 2,022. Wow, I didn't realize there was that many defensive tackles. Oh, from 1987 to 2025. I'm like, that's a lot of D tackles this year. I forgot it was over almost a 30-year period of time. Now you start to look at some of the things they measured. All right, 6'5", 288 pounds. He bench pressed 225 28 times. His vertical was 33.5. Broad jump 9 feet 11 inches, basically 10 feet. All right, 40-yard dash, which caught everybody's attention. All right, at the NFL Combine, 4.83. His 20-yard split is 2.8, which is pretty good. His 10-yard split, 1.7, which is, I mean, these are good numbers. Like record-setting numbers at Nebraska would be like 168, 169 for the 10-yard split. He's at 1.7. Like he'd be knocking on the door of record-setting numbers from guys who played at Nebraska. All right, the 3-cone, I'm not even going to read that. Most people don't even know what it is. I think it's a stupid test. The 20-yard shuttle, 4.5. That's not bad. It's probably average to slightly above average. Some of the other things that I've read, like his 40 is really good. His 10, his 20 is really good. The 28 reps in the bench press, probably on par with most guys that are similar to him. The 20-yard shuttle's probably on par. His straight line speed is, I think, what surprised a lot of people. When you look at a guy like Ty Robinson, what do you think? Second round, third round, fourth round, fifth round. I think most people fall in the third round somewhere. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, I would say probably early third round, but would not be surprised by a second round pick this evening just because of how he did rise, after in the draft process and looks to be one of the better athletes in this draft. And then the other thing, too, is it's going to be intriguing just to see where he goes, right? Is he going to be a 3-4 defensive end? Is he going to go inside on a 4-3 for pass rushing? So he's got some versatility there that's going to help him find a spot in this league. And you've documented before. It could be a big decision on whether he gets drafted into 3-4 and 4-3 and his long-term implications there. But either way, that helps him as far as a prospect goes. And he's just always kind of flashed that potential, right? I think through his first couple of years, and then this year really took off. But I remember I was able to last year when Maryland came to Nebraska, I was able to work with the Maryland radio team, and they were impressed by him right away. Like, it didn't take him long on the field. The color commentator, who was a kick returner, I think spent some time in the NFL, said, "Oh, that's an NFL guy." So usually when you can see that, you're not talking about necessarily guys that barely make it in, and he's definitely a guy that's been moving up the boards, like I said here. So I'm hoping for a second. Not going to hold my breath. I think if he drops to the fourth, he's an absolute steal.
Oh, he's a steal in the fourth round. What you hope throughout this draft process is you hope a team or a GM falls in love with you. okay, in a football sense is obviously what I'm referring to. Just to be clear, I don't need some weird text coming my way, but you want a team or a GM to fall in love with you. And that's how guys get popped earlier than they're expected to. You just need one or two. You just need one, but when is their pick? What is their team needs? How does it all work out? So you just need one or two. And that's how you get popped early. If you do some things, which is what happened, I believe, to Shedeur, to rub people the wrong way, you're going to fall. Ty Robinson's not a guy who's going to do that. Ty Robinson is a guy who I believe is either going to go where he's anticipated, which is third, no later than fourth, or he gets popped late in the second. Now, it's interesting because he's expected to be the first Nebraska player drafted off the board. It's interesting. There is a couple of scouts who like Fidone a little bit better. Not the consensus, not the majority. There are some people out there who love Thomas Fidone. And when it comes to maybe getting drafted higher than we would have anticipated, there's a possibility that a couple of teams have maybe fallen in love with him. And maybe he gets popped earlier than we think. I do know there's a couple scouts who actually like Fidone the best out of all the Nebraska players coming out this year. Again, it's not the majority. The majority would say Ty Robinson. What's interesting about Ty Robinson, there's multiple things. There's no consensus about it. He's ranked anywhere. Matt Miller has him the number 51. Okay, ranked number 51 out of 600 NFL draft prospects this year. That's second round. That's solid second round, mid-round. And then Scouts Inc. has him number 75, which is solid third round. Okay, another guy has him number 91 with a late third round grade. So he's pretty much in the top 100, but there's a big gap between 51 to 75 to 91. So I do think people are going to look at his tape, especially his senior year, and be like, that kid's really good. It's always better if you played at that level for multiple years. Ty Robinson played well, but he really popped off his senior year. Had he popped off his junior and senior year, that reinforces, okay, a scout's belief that, hey, the possibility of a bust element in the NFL is much, much less. I talk about the hardest thing is consistency. If somebody does it for 1 year, okay, that's awesome. But if you do it for two, now you've shown a level of consistency, which is going to exponentially help you. Ty was a good player. His sophomore, junior, really popped off. His senior year stood out. Here's the other thing that's interesting is where teams want to play him. In the 3-4, as a defensive end, as a 3 technique, as a 4th and a 4-3 defense. Okay. One of the things that I think is appealing to him, and his age is honestly going to be held against him. He's a little bit older. The COVID year, the extra eligibility years, he's one of the oldest players in this draft. And teams are going to say, hey, he's going to be more mature when he comes in. We like that. We've got less years to have him if we do sign him for a second contract before he hits 30, when things start to change physically for players sometimes. So maybe that does or doesn't help. When you're thinking about a guy's ceiling, he's going to be a lot closer to his ceiling at the age of 24 versus a guy who's coming out that's 20 or 21, because he's already been developed more. So it's a little bit more sure thing of what you're getting, which can be a plus as far as you're not concerned about him failing, but also how much better can we get him once he gets here. All right. The other thing is how different scouts view him. All right. Some scouts view him as a perfect 5 technique in a 3-4. Some scouts are going to like him better as a 3 technique in a 4-3, and they might be like, I don't like him as much in the 3-4 or whatever. It depends on what a team is running. So the position that they put him at could make a big difference too. I'll just be honest with you. A 4-3-3 technique is valued higher than a 3-4 defensive end. It just is. The middle backers and the outside backers, the edge rushers are considered the most valuable, and the nose guard are considered the most valuable positions in a 3-4. Well, what position did I just leave out? The D end. That's just how they look at it. It is what it is. It's not my choice. In a 4-3, they're going to look at the 3 technique and the defensive ends, and then a lot of teams will just rotate a bigger nose guard in and out based on if it's a run or a smaller nose guard, or maybe bump the 3 down to nose if it's a passing type down or situation. So with Ty, I'm curious to see who drafts him, where they draft him, and what position they envision him playing in, and what type of defense they run to begin with. You got any other thoughts on that?
No, it's just, I think it's exciting to because then you can go which team drafts him, right? And then you're looking at team need. He still fits in the category of those first 3 rounds, right? Where kind of once you get to the 4th, 5th round, okay, maybe got some projects or some guys that are compete for backup spots. But when you're first 3 round, those are guys that are often expected to come in and play or impact the team right away. So I think he's in that category. So that's what's kind of fun about his draft positioning is as soon as he gets drafted, there's going to be expectations on him to play right away. So I don't know. And then you kind of think, okay, so maybe back in the 3rd might be more exciting for Husker fans, other than your favorite team, right? It would be a competitive team that still has a need there.
All right, Thomas Fidone. This is, for me personally, this is the most intriguing player coming out of Nebraska. We know what his ceiling, based on what he was rated out of high school, is. We know there's maybe some mixed emotions here or there about how things went, but scouts love him. And honestly, since January, he moves with more fluidity than he had in a long time here at Nebraska. And I've talked about, having multiple knee injuries, just because you're cleared doesn't mean you feel good. There's a difference between you can go play and I feel like myself again. I'm 100%. I'm moving with the fluidity that I would like to. And so for me, it almost looks to me since January, when you watch him at the Senior Bowl and you watch him at the Combine and you watch him at Pro Day, I'm like, man, this is the best I've ever seen him move since he got hurt, which is great. And I think that has helped how scouts view him. Big body, length, big target, who is now moving well, or I should say better than he was at times when he was here, still recovering from multiple major knee surgeries. And here's a quote from one scout. Fidone is for sure viewed as one of the top projectable tight ends, end quote. Another one. For most people, they consider it a consensus, a top 6 or 7, pending how they view him, like 6 or 7 tight end in the draft, like one of the top 6 or 7 best. Fidone to me, and he is in my rankings right now within that range. And he says, I have Fidone at 7. There's already been 2 tight ends drafted. So if another 2 go and another 2 go, he might get popped in the 4th. Like I would be surprised if he went ahead of Ty Robinson, but I wouldn't be flabbergasted. I would definitely be surprised, but I wouldn't be flabbergasted. That's not a dig at Ty. That's a compliment to how scouts view Fidone. All right, let's see if we got anything else here. And I quote, to me, he's in a tier by himself because he's the one developmental dude. He's got all the traits. He has the frame. He has the athleticism. I like the way he moves on the field. I like his length and his frame and his effort while blocking. Yeah, I just paused to let that sit there. There's a lot of tight ends in the class where you feel comfortable can mostly play in line, but Fidone for sure needs to work on the blocking technique and needs to add more weight, bulk, and improve the play strength on the frame. I shouldn't have paused when I did. End quote. And those are some more quotes from scouts. So basically, his potential, his upside. They need better blocking, but his upside is there. Projectable tight end means dude's got big upside. So he's probably the guy that's the most intriguing to me out of just about anybody. I'm intrigued to see where Ty goes. Does Nash get drafted? Ben Scott, Isaiah Naor, who ran a 4-flat 40 at 215, one of only 5 guys in the history of the NFL Combine to do it, which frustrates me about certain things here, but I'm curious to see what he does in the future. All right, just an FYI, Fidone listed at 6'4", 241. All right, a wingspan of 82 inches. What's your wingspan, Jake? Do you know?
No, but one time I went to the College Basketball Hall of Fame in Kansas City, and they had a wingspan test. So I did it, and because it's like, all right, what are you comparable? Which NBA player in history comparable to? And it just said there are no comparable NBA players to your wingspan. I think I have a short wingspan is what I'm getting to.
I was going to say you've got the largest wingspan. They don't compare to you. You got to go that way with it. You got to go the other way.
No, I don't think I was born to be an NBA player.
All right. The next guy listed, and we can go with whoever here, but Tommy Hill's listed next. All right. 6'2", 210 pounds. Like he's a big athletic corner. Wingspan of 79 inches. All right. My take on Tommy, top 3-round talent, struggled last year. You can blame plantar fasciitis. This is a guy that moved from DB to receiver to returner to DB. it was like, oh man, there's a lot, this Eric Chenander defense doesn't fit. The Tony White defense fits better. Then all of a sudden he's struggling, and then he's out the last 2 games of the year. Was it plantar fasciitis, or is there a bit of a ping pong ball effect here? With all due respect, I felt like there was more of a ping pong ball effect, and you can connect the dots of where I'm going with that. But if he starts to put things together, he's got the talent to play for a long time. The question is, will he do it? What say you, Jake?
Well, I mean, I kind of put everybody else in the same category, which is a late round flyer with mostly potential. And that's why you kind of get in that late round. If you're more proven, obviously, then they're going to feel more comfortable taking you. Tommy Hill, like you said, very athletic, but it's just, the career, it's not just that it was up and down. It was really down toward the end,
Yes.
right? It got to the point where he couldn't even play at Nebraska. He was never a lockdown corner.
Nope.
He did get a few picks last year, which kind of got him some hype going into the season. Then the Colorado game, and all of a sudden you moved him up to the kind of the first round in certain drafts. And that tells you he's got the athleticism that it's not like, okay, put on pause, he can't rise that high. But man, it just really kind of flamed out there toward the end. A lot of hype around Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. You could put that Colorado tape on, not just the pick six. Remember,
Yep.
Travis Hunter was talking trash the first half,
Yep.
not so much trash the second half. I mean, that was Tommy Hill's day, but it just did not go right after that. I could not talk. I would have a hard time as a GM doing anything but a 7th round flyer on Tommy.
I forgot to mention Fedoni's 40-yard dash time. If you didn't know, he ran a 4.7840, 2.74 20-yard split, 1.81 10-yard split. And to show you how good Ty Robinson's times were, his 10-yard split was 1.70. Like when I told you he was knocking on the door of record-setting 10-yard dashes at Nebraska, Fedoni, who's moving well, ran a 1.81. Ty Robinson ran a 1.7 and weighs, Fedoni's 243, weighs about 45 pounds more. It's not a shot at Fedoni. Ty Robinson is a guy that might get popped early or could be taken behind Fedoni. The draft, it was great TV last night. It was awful listening to Mel Kiper. Oh, my gosh. But it was great. Austin did the smart thing. He changed the channel to the NFL Network. Why didn't I think of that? But and now it's like, all right, who's going to go where? How's this going to pan out? The next guy, Isaiah Nayor, talent galore, talent galore, talent galore. Similar to Tommy Hill. Can they put it together? Can they find a way to do it? Again, the 4-flat 40-yard dash. All right, 218 pounds. I said 215, 218. All right, 6'4", vertical 38 inches, broad jump 11 feet. I mean, the dude's explosive, explosive and fast. 20-yard dash, 2.55, 10-yard split, 1.58, 20-yard shuttle, 4.27. And they rated him, let's see. They didn't give a rating. It says athletic testing on a scale of 0 to 10 is 0. That's not right. So I don't know what the rating is, but I'll tell you right now, those are athletic scores for a receiver that size. Can he put it together? Who else we want to chat about? Ben Scott, Nash Hutmaker. I've kind of talked about Nash Hutmaker. He may or may not get drafted. Somebody's getting a diamond in the rough. That's how I feel about Nash. You want to take Ben?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, the same type of thing. Hopefully, we'll definitely get a look. We'll see if he can sneak in there. Hasn't necessarily been projected in there. But again, I talked about this yesterday. He has specifically been working on center. He played some tackle at Arizona State. When he came to Nebraska, it was supposed to be a 1-year deal. Turned that into 2 years. So we thank him for that. And it was all for this day, right? For this preparation, because that's where he thinks his long-term opportunity is. So unfortunately, probably didn't put enough. But I mean, we've talked about it. He's been one of the best, if not the best, offensive lineman of Nebraska the last couple of years. So the opportunity will be there. Again, maybe late round flyer, but most likely as an undrafted free agent.
So I saved this tweet from Michael Severe. It's about a month ago. So there's probably some information in here that are out there that's not been factored into this, but I thought it was interesting. He kind of went through everybody, NFL draft guesses for the Huskers. Ty Robinson, he said 3rd or 4th round. I think now they would probably be a solid 3rd, maybe 2nd if we were to update that. Thomas Fedoni, 4th or 5th. 4th or 5th is fine. I'd be surprised if he goes 6th, maybe 3rd if somebody falls in love with him, which some people may have. Nash Hutmaker, 7th to undrafted free agent. Isaiah Nayor, 7th round undrafted free agent. You got any major disagreements with any of that so far?
Not necessarily. I'm just going to go on the opposite end of Fedoni. Not because I'm not part of team anti-Fedoni. I know there's a small group of Husker fans that are that. I just still, I just, it's a lot of what he was able to do post Nebraska career that has kind of risen him again. But still, just kind of watching through the tape, I think he's probably more of a 6th round pick. But you could be right. I mean, there are people out there. It's a deep tight end class. So that doesn't necessarily help him there. But again, he's a lot more kind of falls into Nair, Tommy Hill, all these other kind of guys that we're talking about, maybe more of a project. And I just don't know if you're going to take a 4th round project, even 5th round, like top end, you're still hopefully getting kind of something more than a project out of that.
I think my gut just tells me somebody's going to fall in love with him and pop him a little bit sooner. I think, in my humble opinion, the best player going into this draft coming out of Nebraska is Ty Robinson. You got Nash is going to be the diamond in the rough. That's my prediction. Tommy, Isaiah, the ceiling is through the roof. The floor goes through to the basement. It just does. It depends on what they want to do. When it comes to Thomas Fidone, again, he's the most intriguing guy to me. What happens here? If you go by purely what happened at Nebraska, good, not great, moving better, feeling better now. I believe somebody's going to fall in love with him, maybe pop him a little bit sooner. So maybe it is 4th or 5th round. Now, I didn't necessarily give my take. I probably wouldn't do that. And I'll be honest with you. He's very sensitive about things. Okay. He's very sensitive about things. That would make me leery because you are scrutinized to the gills in the NFL. And he won't be as much, depending on where he's drafted, as like the 1st round pick, the 2nd round pick, the quarterback, etc. Nor should he be. The level of sensitivity when you shush your own home crowd concerns me a little bit. Now, we all mature, we all learn, we all grow, we all get better. I'm sure he's going down that path of positivity. Hopefully, he's going down it quickly because that would behoove and benefit him. Undrafted free agents, Ben Scott, Jamal Banks, MJ Sherman. Okay. Tryout type players, Micah Mazuka, who I've been told was the most NFL-ready offensive lineman we had in that room last year. And just a lot of we're talking about a lot of talented guys. And then we're talking 7th round undrafted free agent tryout type guy. Brian Buscini, who I'm going to personally root for a ton. Good dude. Just great human being. Tryout type guy. I think that covers about everybody. Did we miss anybody?
Like a John Bullock.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, there's maybe a few more names they're going to try to get it in there. But you said MJ Sherman. Yeah. So I think that's about everybody.
I would love to see
Isaac Gifford.
Yeah. I mean, how do you do at the pro day? For some reason, that's escaping me.
I don't know if he necessarily stood out. I don't remember exactly what his numbers were.
There's guys I'm going to be rooting for. Guys I'm just curious about. I'm rooting for all of them, but guys I'm curious about, guys I'm especially rooting for. Obviously, we want everyone to do well, represent themselves well, have successful careers, represent Nebraska well. We'll see how this all unfolds. All right, we got some more things when we come back. Press conference analysis going back a week. I'll leave you with this, and I played with both these guys, and it's interesting because I've interviewed Daniel Bullocks twice, a DB's coach for the San Francisco 49ers 2 years in a row. They were going into the NFC title game, and I interviewed him 2 years in a row. And he told me about how him and Josh, his twin brother, Daniel was the strong safety, Josh was the free safety. They would switch. They'd switch like jerseys, and they'd switch, and they'd play each other positions, and nobody ever noticed. The coaches never noticed. And they would just kind of randomly do it, have fun. They'd wink, and they knew, but nobody else knew. And so, but here's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Possibly the only time twins were drafted in the exact same spot in the NFL draft. Josh Bullocks of Nebraska and Daniel Bullocks the next year. They were both selected in the 2nd round as the exact 40th overall pick both years in back-to-back years. It's interesting because Josh statistically had better stats. But even Josh and Daniel would tell you Daniel was a little bit faster, maybe a little bit quicker, so to speak, which is kind of funny because, some teams will bump you up with that athleticism. Some teams will emphasize more on, and they were both very good players, to be clear, a little bit more of the production, but they both were exactly the 40th overall pick in the NFL draft 2 years in a row. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Chelsea plays Everton at 6:30 a.m., followed by Newcastle versus Ipswich Town at 9 a.m. On Sunday, Bournemouth plays Man United at 8 a.m., followed by Liverpool versus Tottenham at 10:30 a.m. Liverpool currently leads the standings with a commanding 79 points. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
Get ready for the largest dirt late model event in Nebraska, race fans. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series is heading to Eagle Raceway's High Bank Heist on Thursday, May 15th through Saturday, May 17th. See the greatest dirt late model stars in the country compete for $10,000 to win on both Thursday and Friday, and an enormous $50,000 to win 75-lap main event on Saturday. The High Bank Heist, May 15th through May 17th at Eagle Raceway. For more info, visit eagleraceway.com. Let's go Lucas Oil Late Model Racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street.
Cinco de Mayo is May 5th, but the party starts early this year at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina with their street festival on Saturday, May 3rd. Come down to 8th and Q starting at 1 p.m. on May 3rd and see llamas from Sweet and Sassy's Llama Farm until 4 p.m. and enjoy face painting and balloon animals with Miss Shades at 2 p.m. DJ Wyatt will entertain from 6 to 10:30 p.m. There will be drinks, food, and giveaways, and best of all, no cover charge. It's the early Cinco de Mayo Street Festival with Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, Saturday, May 3rd, beginning at 1 p.m. at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Oliver, left circle, wrister, he scores! Lincoln wins the Anderson Cup. Join us at the Icebox this Friday and Saturday as the Lincoln Stars take on the Waterloo Blackhearts in games 1 and 2 of the Western Conference Finals. The Stars are on the precipice of reaching the Clark Cup Final and need your help to have a true home ice advantage. The puck drops at 7:05 Friday night and 6:05 Saturday night. Lock in your seats now at LincolnStars.com.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Spring is right around the corner, and now's the time to get your John Deere mower prepared for the grass to turn green. To get you ready, Acres reduced the price of its John Deere mower blades, filters, belts, and home maintenance kits by 15%. Gator UTV maintenance parts are also 15% off. Regular maintenance will keep your John Deere equipment going for years. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Offer expires May 31st, 2025. Visit your local Acres for details or go to acres.com to start shopping today.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We will be giving reactions next week after we see where Fedoni goes and Ty goes, and hopefully some of these other guys get drafted and have big, long, successful NFL careers as well. We got some pressers to get through, though. We got to go quickly. We got a lot to get through. Harper Murray, Dylan Raiola, Matt Rhule, Vincent Shavers, a ton. All right, Rhule, on bringing in Pat Stewart, said he brought in Pat because he can be a difference maker. Credits Pat for being a critical thinker and shares this is crucial for where college football is right now. Never heard of a GM in college football until about 3 years ago. Now you've got like multiple ones just for Nebraska. And it's imperative that you have a GM, I might add. All right, says on Saturday, the Husker games of 2s and 3s will be playing on Saturday, aiming for 60 plays. We'll go one quarter, then a competition, then another quarter, then another competition with current players and whoever else is out there as well. I guess former players or whatever else. We're still getting info on our end. He didn't get into coaching to pay players, but he does give credit to Scott Frost and his staff for the players in this year's draft. Think about it. Ty Robinson's a Frost guy. A lot of these guys are Frost guys. So you got to give credit to Frost for bringing those guys in. Now, hopefully, again, wish these guys the best. Hopefully they have long, successful, healthy NFL careers. All right. He wants his guys to be pros when they go to the NFL. Wants them to know how to practice and handle their business. He wants them to be in year 3 mentality in year 1 as a rookie in the NFL. He said nobody has been more loyal than Fidone. Fidone's best football is ahead of him. I know Rhule and Fidone's relationship is a little bit of a touchy subject. I know that from public news, from behind the scenes news. Here's what I'll say. Matt Rhule has never been anything but supportive of Thomas Fidone. Anything he's ever said about him publicly, talked about him publicly, had nothing but good things to say. So I don't know why anyone would believe otherwise. Says whoever gets MJ Sherman will love him. Every guy here in this draft class deserves a chance to make an NFL roster, and they will get a chance. If you're a tryout guy, you get a chance. If you're an undrafted guy, you get a chance. If you're a 7th round guy, you get a chance. If you're a 2nd round guy, you get a chance. They're all going to get an opportunity. It's kind of like I talk about with NIL in the portal, though. The guys that are drafted higher get more of a benefit of the doubt, but everybody's going to get a chance. We'll have a bunch of NFL guys come out of here over the next few years. That's his goal. He likes to talk about the NFL guys that came out of Temple and came out of Baylor. He likes to talk about that, and that's something he should be proud of. He wants to be able to talk about that more here at the University of Nebraska as well. Rhule is excited to watch the women's flag football game. Emmett Johnson even talked about the rise of women's sports and how he's excited about it. I got 5 daughters. I'm extremely excited about it. The rise of girls wrestling. I know that's something that Rob Zadiska gets excited about. His daughter, Piper, is a really good wrestler. The rise of girls flag football. Mentioned it before. I got a daughter of my own who's probably going to do it next year. She's very aggressive, and if she accidentally tackles a girl out there, I'm working on it. Other parents don't get mad at me. There's a reason she's so into football. They had to stay up last night. She's a Broncos fan. They're supposed to go to bed. They're supposed to have been in bed 30 minutes ago. Dakota looks at me. The Broncos picking 3 picks. Can we please stay up and bat her little eyelashes? And I'm such a wimp when it comes to my kids. I'm such a pushover. I was like, all right, everybody's going to gather around. Even my Raider-loving son, we're all going to gather around. And I forget who the 2 teams were picking before the Broncos. But we all gathered around and we watched the Broncos pick a Texas DB. I smiled because I love my daughter and I kept my frustration on the inside. All right. Talked about a roping competition being a part of the Husker games on Saturday. Shares that Elijah Judy is now learning to rope in 3 days. Judy even texted him YouTube videos that he's using to try to learn how to rope in 3 days. There was a Christmas break one year. We went to Steamboat, Colorado, did some skiing, but we did some excursions, and one of them was a cowboy experience, a dinner and everything else, and they taught us how to rope. I actually found it very interesting. I still sucked, but I thought it was very interesting. I will not be participating in said roping contest. All right. He said, and I quote, I think we have come out of spring pretty healthy, end quote. That's what you always want to hear. Hopefully we got better as well. Shares after the spring, he will meet with every player to go over what they all need to do better. Shares he has used this journey, the journey of Cam Jurgens, as an example with his team. Why wouldn't you? That's awesome. Jacob Bauer said, and I quote, I told my mom that I appreciate her, that she was going to let me have this opportunity to continue to play football, which I love, and then I was going to get a scholarship so she wouldn't have to pay for school. End quote. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. End quote. And that's why I think why it became so emotional. because it was just like me grinding and calling her and checking up on her and telling her the news of how I'm doing. And then finally, the best call was that day, and I got to tell her that I got it and that it was done. End quote. Talking about the scholarship. Was planning to go play rugby at West Point if Nebraska did not work out. Called his parents right after getting the scholarship. Looks up to a guy like John Bullock, who I believe Matt Rhule said was a walk-on wide receiver. Ended up being one of our leading tacklers last year as a linebacker. Looks up to John Bullock and his style of play. He actually toured Nebraska as a 10-year-old when he was in choir. Got to start recruiting them 10-year-old choir individuals. Says the defense will be very aggressive. Butler is very hands-on. He had to believe in himself before others could believe in him. Talking about Bauer. Hey, no more truer words have been spoken. If you believe in yourself, first of all, that's by far the most important thing. But if you want other people to believe in you and you don't believe in yourself, good luck with that. All right, Emma Johnson, excited to see women's sports exploding. Rhule is a player's coach and make sure the players are doing what they need to do. They know they can always go talk to Coach Rhule. Knows it will take every one of them on this team to contribute, play, do their role, do their job in order to win. The game has slowed down a lot for him. Offense is more efficient. Dylan Raiola has turned into a veteran real quick, and I do get that sense as well. Says if you love Nebraska football, you'll be there on Saturday. Talking about Husker games this weekend. All right. You got any thoughts real quick while I kind of peruse? I'm trying to go quickly through all this. You got any thoughts real quick, Jake?
Well, it's funny. I just go back to the old thing. You can't have a team full of choir boys. Well, there's one choir boy that rose up and obviously making a joke, but it's such a cool story. Again, don't know how many more of those we'll get as college football moves on, and we might not see walk-ons. But man, what a cool bonding moment for Bauer and his mom. And obviously, I mean. It's good that it happened because he could be off to rugby if it didn't happen soon enough,
He was one of the best rugby players in high school. Probably already knew that. But if you didn't, now you know. All right, Amari Sanders, after the Wisconsin game, Coach Rhule told him that he was going to be a player on the field next year. The community here has helped him adapt to Lincoln since he came from South Florida. All of the South Florida guys from the 2024 class are close. Andrew Marshall has been very competitive since getting here. Dude, I'm excited to see what he can do. He can be a potential starting corner. He can be a punt returner or a kick return. I'm excited to see what he can do. All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we got some volleyball presser notes. Bergen Riley, Harper Murray, DBK. All right, and then I believe we also have Pat Stewart, Vincent Shavers, Dylan Raiola. We're going to move quickly, but be very efficient. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK, Make flying easy.
Fight fans, May 3rd, Dynasty Combat Sports hosts the first bare-knuckle boxing bout ever at Pinnacle Bank Arena, pitting Lincoln's Tower Robinson against McCook's Thomas Thatcher. Additionally, MMA bouts will see champion Nate Morrow battle Nebraska City's Brett Minner. University of Nebraska wrestler Tyler Berger makes his pro MMA debut, and Hunter Green takes on Husham Zadow for the amateur featherweight title. Also, professionals Brady Minner, Sean Lindgren, Justin Weaver, and the debut of another Nebraska wrestler Bubba Wilson. 16 fights are scheduled Saturday, May 3rd at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Fight cards subject to change. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com or at the Pinnacle Bank Arena box office.
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a four-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats, including Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carriker, Rashawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Email Jake at theticketfm.com for more questions or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Early bird registration goes through April 20th, and overall registration goes through May 30th.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes. Feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
Spring is right around the corner, and now's the time to get your John Deere mower prepared for the grass to turn green. To get you ready, Acres reduced the price of its John Deere mower blades, filters, belts, and home maintenance kits by 15%. Gator UTV maintenance parts are also 15% off. Regular maintenance will keep your John Deere equipment going for years. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Offer expires May 31st, 2025. Visit your local Acres for details or go to acres.com to start shopping today.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends. Cinco de Mayo is May 5th, but the party starts early this year at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina with their street festival on Saturday, May 3rd. Come down to 8th and Q starting at 1 p.m. on May 3rd and see llamas from Sweet and Sassy's Llama Farm until 4 p.m. and enjoy face painting and balloon animals with Miss Shades at 2 p.m. DJ Wyatt will entertain from 6 to 10:30 p.m. There will be drinks, food, and giveaways, and best of all, no cover charge. It's the early Cinco de Mayo Street Festival with Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, Saturday, May 3rd, beginning at 1 p.m. at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
At Allo, we go beyond internet, bringing you faster speeds backed by an all-fiber network. We go beyond TV and phone service, delivering reliable, crystal clear connections. We go beyond customer service with local teammates and no robots for a hassle-free experience. We go beyond value, offering transparent prices with no contracts, hidden fees, or data caps. We even go beyond our office doors by working, hiring, volunteering, and living in the communities we serve. Go beyond fiber. Sign up today at allofiber.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. And as always, check out The Ticket at theticketfm.com, Facebook, X, YouTube, podcast platforms, Amazon Prime. If you're in your car, simply turn your radio dial to 93.7. All right, let's move quickly. The Packers' first-round NFL draft pick, Matthew Golden, started his career at Houston, where he was coached and recruited by D. Shorts. 8 of the first-round draft picks, 8 of the 32 first-round draft picks were ranked 3 stars or lower coming out of high school. I've already talked about Cam Ward. A couple others to highlight. Number 18, Gray Zabel, offensive lineman, was unranked. Number 6 overall pick, Ashton Genty, was a 2-star. Just things to keep in mind going forward, ladies and gentlemen. All right, from earlier this week, the Huskers have picked up their 6th transfer portal commitment of the cycle, basketball that is. Tulsa transfer forward Jared Garcia commits to Nebraska. And Lawrence Taylor's insane. Legendary New York Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor said he does not remember being drafted because he hydrated himself with 41 Coors Lights on that particular day. All right, and I mentioned this earlier, but Jalen Milroe. All right. If you're a GM, I wouldn't draft him. Let's say he ends up on your team quickly. Would you keep him at quarterback, or would you try to move him to running back or wide receiver? Because several of his skill position guys told the Alabama coaches, we're not coming back if he's the quarterback next year.
Jeez. I mean, I think you got to draft him as a quarterback. I know there's a lot of different views on him. I wasn't particularly impressed by his consistency, at least. So I'd start him there. Those trying to find different position things, those are tough. Sometimes it works. I mean, you got the Julian Edelmans of the world, but a lot of times those guys get lost pretty quickly too.
All right, volleyball presser. Bergen Riley, Harper Murray will start there. Harper Murray says Danny likes to mix things up just a little bit more than Cook. Things are going to be a little bit more up tempo, a little bit quicker. All right, similar, not going to change anything drastically, but there will be subtle changes like that. All right, Bergen Riley says she's having a lot of fun. Danny is the main setter. Coach, she was a setter in college for a time as well. All right, Danny's usually the first person out of practice. Simply her kid's birthday is this weekend, so she tries to get home to spend time with the family. Having a balanced life is very, very important. All right, Bergen Riley says she can already tell that Danny's got the mom-like caring approach to the players. Sometimes kind of treats them in a positive way. I mean, it's like a mom, a caring mom, like, I'm going to do what's best for you, but it's because she cares for them. And the more players know that you care about them, the more they're going to care about what you have to say to them. All right. Danny and the girls have been joking around about what she's going to wear for the scrimmage this weekend. Says Danny has been stressing about it. All right. They do miss Lexi Rodriguez a lot, but know it's time for someone else to fill her shoes. All right. Let's see here. Harper Murray was confused on what exactly will be named after John Cook. Does not want the Bob to be called the John. The John. That's funny. All right, Coach Danny, DBK. Settling in, moving in has been the most difficult part. Just getting settled in. People ask me to this day, hey, are you settled in? We're moved in. I've still got too many boxes, or too many rooms, floor-to-ceiling boxes. Part of that is football season started. I put it off to January, and I was like, I'm going to put it off to the summer. So June 1st, I actually have to get off my butt and go through some boxes. But getting settled can be the most difficult thing. All right. Wants all the players and coaches to interact and get to know each other. All right. This volleyball spring game wasn't planned, but Danny felt it was really important to get a game in under their belt. All 4 of the liberos have done a great job that are battling for this job so far this spring. Will not use 2 liberos as of now, however, is open to trying it. New rule allows you to have 2 liberos on the court, by the way. Everybody will get a chance to show what they can do against Kansas. Saturday is going to be special. I think I missed it, but I think at one of the practices, John Cook showed up and was like kind of in the stands having fun, kind of hollering at him. And then he'd move to a different spot and kind of holler at him, and they were having a little bit of fun with that. Pat Stewart, all right. Let's see. Finds tough, smart, physical players. That's what he emphasizes. Says there's nothing harder than cutting a player. It's difficult to set a value on a player since they don't have the data like the NFL does. Says the portal is more like the NFL preseason than it is free agency. That's interesting. Since you don't know who will leave a team and when they will leave. That makes a little bit more sense. Looking to add more manpower to the scouting and recruiting department. Says the roster right now at this moment is solid. More manpower to the recruiting department. When you're trying to analyze your own players, high school players, transfer portal players, I can't imagine how long that takes and how many players they're trying to analyze. I don't think you never have enough manpower when it comes to that. Vincent Shaver is very excited for Bowers to get a scholarship. Defense is taken to the next level under John Butler. All right. Let's see. He and the defense want to lead the nation in as many stances as possible. Likes our O-line, says Elijah Pritchett is for real. There you go, Jake. Once you get a hold of you, you're done. Says John Bullock really helped him last year, especially after the Purdue game. Dylan Raiola, very proud of where the team is and proud of the brotherhood they built. Feels very strong. Justin Evans is playing great at center. All right. Wants to see 40 to 50,000 people this Saturday. I'd love to see that. Not sure if we'll get there. TJ Lateef has really been doing good. Says the freshman wide receivers have all stood up and practiced well. He is confident when he looks to his left and his right and you see who's out there as far as skill position guys. Says Heinrich Harburg is more like a Dodge TRX pickup with a Hellcat engine. He is big, but can get up and move. More similar to that than maybe a Ferrari or a Lambo just because he's put on 20 pounds this year. Says Harburg's nickname is Spirit, like the horse, because he will gallop after catching passes sometimes. They're working on getting him not to do that so much. Dylan is extremely confident on what he is asked to do for the team. Really excited to hear guys' names called this week at the draft. Guys he played with last year getting their name called this weekend at the NFL draft. It says Dane Key is living with Dylan for the week since Dane Key is having car problems. The most important takeaway from all those presser notes, let's get Dane Key a functional car, ladies and gentlemen. All right, have a glorious weekend. Enjoy Husker games, the NFL draft. Do not watch ESPN and listen to Mel Kiper whine about Shedeur. Turn it to the NFL Network. Go Big Red. And always remember to throw the ball.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Get ready for the largest dirt late model event in Nebraska, race fans. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series is heading to Eagle Raceway's High Bank Heist on Thursday, May 15th through Saturday, May 17th. See the greatest dirt late model stars in the country compete for $10,000 to win on both Thursday and Friday, and an enormous $50,000 to win 75-lap main event on Saturday. The High Bank Heist, May 15th through May 17th at Eagle Raceway. For more info, visit eagleraceway.com. Let's go Lucas Oil Late Model Racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose